that position. You got to be able to tell them when it's good and when it's not good enough in front of their peers. And then we spent a lot of time together one-on-one as well. I thought that was some of the best things that I did when I became coordinator. Was the quarterback and the play caller need to see the play exactly the same. And so you don't develop that trust unless you spend a lot of time together.
So Adam, year one with Williams, Chicago ranked last in yards per play. They make changes on the staff. Year two, what have they done to get the most out of their QB?
Well, Phil, you heard Ben Johnson, the new Bears head coach, right there talk about all the time that he spent with Caleb Williams this offseason trying to marry their minds together to think alike. And every single thing the Bears have done this offseason seems designed to bring the best out of Caleb Williams. They hire Ben Johnson first and foremost and surround him with an assistant coaching staff to elevate Caleb Williams. They then go out and trade for 3 different offensive linemen to go fortify a leaky offensive front to protect Caleb Williams. And then they use 2 top draft picks on a tight end from Michigan, Colston Loveland, and a wide receiver from Missouri, and Luther Burden, to give Caleb Williams even more weapons. So he's got the coaches, he's got the line, he's got the weapons. They are doing everything they can to make sure that he fulfills his potential.
Yeah, Schefter, you're right. They're doing everything they can. The one thing they can't do for him, though, is go out and put in the work. And then when it comes to game day, he's got to perform. You're right. New head coach, new coordinator, new quarterback coach, new receivers, new offensive line. They've given him the full NFL makeover when it comes to a quarterback. He has everything that any quarterback could want. Now you got to go out and you got to get it done. And you got to do it on Sundays. We can talk about minicamp and OTAs all we want to. Football is the ultimate show me game. And the only time that he can show us is once we get into preseason and then once we get into the regular season. It's up to Caleb Williams with everything that's gone on in the organization, with everything that's happened, with the book from Seth Wickersham, with all the quotes that have come out. He's going to have to build himself up to make sure that come September, when he steps on that field for the first time, that'll be the first time, Lewis, that he can show us that he's actually bought in and that he's matured as an NFL quarterback and he can go out and get it done.
Yeah, that'll be the first time he can show us that, really what he has done is he has developed the timing and rhythm with Ben Johnson and with this offense to where it just seems much more fluid for him, and he has answers. And I think a lot of that comes down to really them being able to give him digestible information that he can use in real time. And the guy you see on your screen right there running ahead of him, JT Barrett, the quarterback coach, is going to play a huge role in that because he's kind of the go-between. He's kind of the guy who can really go to Ben Johnson on behalf of Caleb Williams because he's going to spend maybe even more time with him than Ben Johnson does and tell him, hey, look, these are the things that Caleb is feeling good about. These are the things that Caleb isn't so sure about. And that happens in practice. That happens in games. That happens in meeting rooms. And I think having that relationship will allow Caleb to really hit the ground running as fast as possible. I mean, it's a whole new offense for him. So there's going to be some growing pains. But I think those two guys together, Ben Johnson and JT Barrett, have to work in tandem to make sure that Caleb's learning curve isn't so steep.
Yeah. And that's why there's a couple things that really stand out to me in this clip. There's the lack of answers that Caleb had and what Ben Johnson discussed about needing to build trust with each other. And that's why it's not fair to just automatically be like, okay, Caleb has all this stuff. He needs to just now essentially just be the superstar from the jump. He just needs to be the superstar. Boom, let's go. And it's like, well, we got to give it a second. We gotta give this a second. He doesn't have the luxury of being in an easy division. He doesn't get to play the version of the New York Giants of last year or backup quarterback Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. So it's like he's been put in a great situation now, undeniably, but it's on the back end of what was such a mess, obviously, the season before. And so these things take time. They take time, and I think he's going to be very successful. But I am, my biggest concern is this zoomed in microscopic view of everything he does. And since people have already seen him kind of burn his excuse card of last season. It's going to be like, there's no excuses. You have everything you need right now. Let's go. And it's like, I still want to like urge some patience here. And again, I'm not saying that he can just be a disaster all season. It's like, well, it was just his first year with Ben Johnson. Like, I'm not saying that either. It's just, I don't need him to throw 4 touchdowns every single game and throw for 300 yards every single game. Like, that's what I don't need. And again, I think Ben Johnson said it best, of just like, this takes time for us to build trust. This is going to take a minute or two for us to get going, and we don't have the luxury of being able to be like, yeah, we get to play a whole bunch of really bad teams, we get to scoop up some easy wins, and we can build off of that. That's not necessarily the situation that the Chicago Bears are in. I think they start off with, back-to-back divisional games, the Vikings and the Lions, if memory serves me correctly. But the other thing that I want to point it out is some of these stats, because I do know a lot of Bears fans will talk about like, oh, his stats are really good or they've been good, but this is why stats can be so misleading. When he was down multiple scores or up multiple scores, that's when he played really well. Touchdown interception ratio 15-1, passer rating 100. 12 passes when trailing by multiple scores, most in the NFL. And so that's happening potentially for a couple different reasons. One, naturally the defense is going to let up. It's going to be a lot easier, prevent defense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know that. If you watch the games, you can see it as clear as day. But there was also a change in his comfortableness, especially in the second half. And you can make the argument that he was actually uncomfortable with the game plan and the more on-script type stuff that is going to be a lot more Caleb and his OC at the time. Obviously, they fired their OC, but, more in the coaching staff at the time. And that the second half is going to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit less rigid, a little bit looser, so to speak. And you can make the argument that he was a lot more comfortable in that regard. And then you could ask yourself, though, why is that? Is it because the coaching staff didn't understand how to bring out the best in Caleb? Was it because Caleb wasn't understanding what they were trying to accomplish? Were they just, not doing good enough job of putting Caleb in a situation to succeed? Like, I think it's kind of a little bit of everything. I mean, I really think that last season was such a mess that it was just really kind of like, the answer is just like, yes. It's like, oh, was it this? Yes. What about that? Yes. Like, you just experienced like every aspect of it. It was just like the ultimate crash course. And so, but I do think this is definitely more something than not. And it's just, I lean towards more it just being that it's just natural that these defenses let up a little bit, but also not 100%. I don't think that explains it completely. Because I do think, especially when you have a young rookie quarterback, defenses are still looking to get after you. And I do think that there was moments that it's not like he was just, I don't want to give the illusion that he was just throwing balls in the most like basic prevent defenses where it's just like, they're just given, the defenses are just giving them first downs. So like, we don't care. You can get all the first downs you want. Like, whatever, keep moving the chains and have the clock run. Like, these guys are wide open. Like, that wasn't necessarily the case either. Because I think there was a fluidity with Caleb, especially when he was playing in the second half, even when games were still within reach, and he had some high level second half moments where the games were close, where like he needed to step up and play really well against the Vikings, against the Commanders. I'm trying to think of any other games off the top of my head, but those are the two games that stand out. And those were the impressive moments. And so that's why I'm excited to see the language that Ben Johnson speaks with Caleb Williams and them getting on the same level, just finally speaking the same language. So the on-script, the first half brand of football can continue, can actually be high level and ride that momentum into the second half. That's what I'm excited to see. I'm really excited to see how Ben Johnson can reliably and consistently put Caleb in a position to succeed, as well as how comfortable is Caleb in the second half when there's actual stakes involved. Not only because the game is close or you're already up or you're just down by like 3, but also like the wins really matter. It's not like, okay, we know we're not making the playoffs. We know we got nothing. It's week 13, whatever it is, week 15, 14, and we just know like, all right, like everything's just, a disaster. I forget what week I know it was like after Thanksgiving, but what exactly week it was when they started, when more and more people started getting fired, essentially. It was just, you're just playing different football at that point, honestly. I mean, I think at that point it's really just like, hey man, I think Caleb, after people started like legitimately getting fired, you really are just relying on your instincts 100%. You're just relying on like, this is such a mess. All the stuff that I've been learning and this and that, I'm just doing what I know I do. I'm literally going to just fall back on the lessons I learned in high school and college. Honestly, I really think that that's what ends up happening, because there's just no NFL foundation for you to fall back on during the chaos of the season. But he's not going to have that this time around. He's going to have Ben Johnson. So I think there's still just so much to learn here. But like, when Booger brings up the book and he's like, oh, he has to prove that he's matured in the book. Like, no one's talking about that. Like, that's the thing that always drives me crazy. The only reason why anyone's even talking about that is because of the media. Like, and they hold the power. Because I guarantee you there's going to be a broadcast in September and whoever's commentating is going to bring that up. And it's going to be some girl also on the sideline. She's like, we asked him about the book, and he said, I put that behind me. I'm a Chicago Bear, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here. Back to you, Mike. And it's just like, no one's talking about that. No one actually cares. The fans aren't all together. They're not in the stands. They're like, oh, that book, right? Oh, I don't know. Does Caleb really want to be here? Like, no one's talking about that. No one cares about it. No one's bringing it up in the comment section. Like, doesn't matter. It's like, this is always that forced manufactured nonsense that drives me insane. And I guarantee you, week 1, they're going to try to bring it up. It's gonna be like, whatever. Sidelines in the booth, all that type of stuff. And it's just like, it's made up. Not like in this segment right here, there was absolutely zero reason to even like remotely bring that up. Like, it has nothing to do with anything right now. Now, granted, I understand there's only so much to talk about, because even when I bring up a clip like this, I'm like, I don't know what else I could say about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson right now. I mean, it's just like, I feel like I really made as many videos as I can in that regard, but it's like, everyone's just trying to stretch this out until there's a little bit more information, maybe, July, where I guess at this point, you're, every month in the offseason, you're just trying to make it, you're just trying your best to make it to the next month, I guess. But it's just like, I don't know, bring it up like forced manufactured drama or something, and like, saying that he needs to mature, like, I don't know, just weird to me. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? What do you think the expectations are here, and how quickly do you think they can kind of hit the ground running? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.